Welcome, WNBA fans. So, what a game! What a game! Commissioner's Cup's just gone final. The Indiana Fever. Boy, they started out slow, and they weren't hitting in the first. And then Minnesota just went cold. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Very unusual to see from Minnesota, but the Fever poured it on, and they, other than the first quarter, they outscored them every quarter, and every kind of push Minnesota made, they just were not. I mean, none of them were hitting shots. I think, I'll look at the stats, but way to go, Natasha Howard. She started off she missed I don't know how many shots, but in the first quarter, she missed a bunch of shots, like putbacks and all this stuff. And then she just turned it around. She ended up being voted MVP. She had 16 points and 12 rebounds. Congratulations, Natasha Howard. Maybe it's a good luck thing to be on Sue Bird's eye view right before the Commissioner's Cup. But congratulations, Indiana Fever. That was a team effort, and her and Boston down low, and Sophie Cunningham had a really nice three when Minnesota was making a run. Just very nicely done. I mean, the Fever, they only scored 12 points. That's when Howard was she couldn't make a basket. 12 points. So Minnesota was up early by 8 points, 20-12 in the first, and then it was flipped. Indiana had 20, and Minnesota only scored 7 points in the second quarter. And so it was still, Indiana was up at halftime, but it wasn't horrible or anything for as bad as Minnesota was shooting. But then the Fever just outscored them each, 20-15, 22-17. And that's the name of the game. Any push, and you could see Minnesota pushing. Towards the end of the third quarter, you could see they instead of going in their normal flow, there was a little bit of panic setting in. They were like, oh crap, we're not hitting anything. We better do something. And usually Minnesota can pull those out, but tonight was not their night. They only scored 59 points. When was the last time that happened? So the Fever wins 74-59. Natasha Howard is MVP. Let's have a look at the scoring here. It was exciting. I just couldn't believe how cold Minnesota was. I mean, even Fee, she was missing all sorts of stuff. Well, look at this. We have 5 people in double figures for the. So Howard had 16, Boston had 12, Mitchell had 12, Ari McDonald had 12, and Sophie Cunningham had 13. So it was nice and spread out. Aaliyah Boston also had 11 rebounds and 6 assists. Howard actually had 4 assists. Lexi Hull had 6 points. Let's see. Sydney Colson had 3. And that was pretty much it. Timpson got in the game too. She was in there for 10 minutes. She didn't score at all, but she was deflecting some shots. So Minnesota, 3 people in double figures. Nafisa Collier shot 33% from the floor, 0 for 2 from 3, 12 points, 9 rebounds. I would venture to guess that was an all-time low for her. Alana Smith was the only one that seemed to be even halfway shooting decently. She had 15 points. She shot 42% from 3 and 45% from the floor. But you look at Kayla McBride, she was 1 for 7, 14%. Courtney Williams, 4 for 14, 28%. Heidemann, 33%. Shepard had 9 points. She was 4 for 4. Let's see what else here. Boy, that is pretty much it. Bridget Carlton didn't score at all. She only took 2 shots. Boy, what a game. But you know what? Congratulations to the Indiana Fever. They played well, other than that first quarter, and then they just poured it on. And you don't see, like I said, you don't see Minnesota with a little bit of panic in their eyes down the stretch. They knew they were in trouble. But good Commissioner Cup game. Enjoyable to watch. So we're going to be moving on. And Minnesota is, the team I normally cover is the Valkyries, and they're playing them on Saturday. Oh boy, and they've got a game on Thursday too. So they have a rough schedule, and I don't know, they might bounce back 10 times as hard. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see you next time.